Welcome to Secrets from a Billionaire's Matchmaker with matchmaker Gina Hendrix.
Well, hello there. Welcome to another exciting episode of Secrets from the Billionaire's Matchmaker. And that's me, Gina Hendrix. I've been a matchmaker since 2008, working with some of the most eligible men in the world. And men over these 18 years now have told me everything. And I share that intel with you. Matchmaking is a very unique perspective, and I'm so glad I'm able to share with you what I've learned about men. I learned what men do right and wrong behind the scenes. I learned what women do right and wrong behind the scenes. And here we are today where I can answer all your questions and share all of that knowledge with you. So let's get into it.
I always say, and I don't do this on purpose, okay, but I just do. I give people enough room to basically hang themselves if they're going to, right? But what I mean by that is I give people the room to show me who they are, and either they end up shooting themselves in the foot or they don't. But I just don't prejudge people. I just don't. I mean, I might have some ideas, but I still go, I'll still let them show me who they are. And I think more of us need to do that because I think the majority of people really, really try to judge. So I had a woman yesterday, she kind of is in a really negative mindset, and she wants to think like, she's determined to believe there's no good guys, that she can't meet anybody. And man, it's so hard for me to help somebody that's in that mindset. And so I said, start showing me guys, because she's not showing me any. So she showed me this one man. And he looked great. He looked wealthy to me. He didn't have that many pictures, but what she showed me, there was nothing to me that indicated it was fake. And so she said, I think all of his photos were AI generated. So I unmatched with him. And so I took his photos and I was trying to do some research, and I had one of my assistants do some research on the photos, and there was nothing that I could turn up in anything that indicated it was fake. And so I feel like this is a case, she's basing people, like she's prejudged. I feel like for sure she prejudged that guy too soon. Because if you're in doubt, talk to him, chat with him. Does he seem weird? Do things not add up? Then we, but to just assume, his photos are AI, I couldn't find any evidence of that. That's what I'm just saying.
All right, so now we're going to take the first question of the day, and we're opening spicy. I'm going to help this lady figure out how to tell these men what she does for a living without telling these men what she does for a living. Why? Because, men can be down and dirty dirt dogs, as I like to say, and her career can make their minds go to the gutter. So let's talk about it.
A couple of things. I think I really wanted your input right out the bat on one of my big questions is for me when to share what I do for a living, because I that world of polarity that you were talking about with your guest, which I did see that conversation. I am a sacred sexuality teacher and coach, so I'm very familiar with that world of tantra, the world of polarity. But it's horrible when somebody asks you on a in casual conversation, what do you do for a living? The conversation's, I mean, it's not that I'm not proud of what I do. I love it. But I wonder if you have some guidance of like, do I soft pedal that? Do I lead? Like, do I just
I know that's tricky, because the same thing with my space in matchmaking. It's right. Like it opens up this like rabbit hole that where it kind of, now it puts you into a place where they're asking advice. They're, But I think in your case, even more so, men's minds always go to the gutter anyway. So,
right. So a lot of times they ask me like, does that mean you're a sex worker? Like, are you having sex with your client?
Oh my God. I know. And don't you hate those stupid, like the stupidest things, right? So if I were you, I would just avoid telling them until they absolutely needed to know. I would just say, that you're in the health and wellness space and you coach women to be their best type of thing. Yeah. I would dance around it.
Yeah, somebody in your group just suggested saying which I do somatic work, to say I'm a somatic practitioner.
Yes. Okay. And tell me about somatic work.
Somatic just means body based, right? You're dropping into your sensations, right? Which is a lot of what women struggle with, right? Is to drop into their bodies in any time in sex or any other time. So that is exactly a lot of what I do. So,
I don't
somatic
know.
healing
I still think that it might lead you
take us the
in.
wrong direction.
Yeah, I would do it. So here's what I would do. I would do it in a rollout of baby steps. I would say,
Uh-huh.
so if you're going to put like your career on your dating profile, which you should, I would just put health and wellness like that. That's all I would put right at that. So we're going to roll it out in baby steps. And then
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you work in health and wellness and you're talking, yeah, I'm a coach for women, helping them to be their best selves. And then that would be the
Mhm.
next rollout of the baby step. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then maybe when you're on a call with him and because, you're going to get on a pre-qualifying call, this is where if it comes up, you can then not give them the full thing yet, but this is where you can say about the somatic because they're probably going to be kind of like me, like I've heard the word, but can you explain further? And then that way you can explain without still going all the way. And then you go on a couple of dates. And if you like him, that's when you can tell him the full thing. You know what I mean? That's how I would do it.
Okay. So I know you have something that we were talking about privately, and now you're going to share with everybody, and I'm going to help you work through this and share some important perspective.
Michael never responded back after he said, let's do a phone call. And then I gave him my number and then he never.
Did you give him your number with the formula that says, yeah, a phone call would be great. Here's my number. Let me know when I can expect to hear from you.
Yeah. In
Okay.
fact, I gave him a couple times and then he said, oh, and then I wrote back the next day. I was like, actually, this night time doesn't work, but let me know, if the other time. And then he just never wrote back. He's still in my queue, but.
Here's what I want to say about this. And I just want to remind you guys, okay? Because I'm giving you guys, you're in it. So you're in the fishbowl. So you see it from your perspective, but I'm going to bring in a high level perspective from being a matchmaker. So the high level perspective is that probably, here's what I'm thinking. Probably the day you spoke to him, you guys were chatting. I'm sure he was interested. He may have gone on a second he may have gone on a first date that was like insanely out of this world. And he's excited about her and he wants to see where that goes. Or it might have been a second date. So that's fine. That's the early stages of dating. You shouldn't get offended right away if somebody doesn't get back to you. You have to understand this is like the super highway of dating and things happen really quickly. So does that help? Did I answer your questions or not?
All they did was respond one time to a message to me. I didn't actually, and I responded once. And so we didn't move it to a phone call, because it was like, we all they asked me what they responded to what's the an interesting question. I wrote a response back. They responded one more time with a follow up and a question. It's just, I guess you're saying what I could do at that point when I don't have time to really get back into a whole thing with them is to say to them like, hey, I haven't had a chance to or what, like you said last night, I've things like going on. I'm not always on here or whatever. You haven't had a chance to circle back. Maybe we just get into a phone call.
So if I were you, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd be like, hey, I'm not on the apps that much and, my time can be kind of limited. What if we streamline this or what if we just jump on a call and chat, you know what I mean? You know the strategy here.
Is it too late though, after like a week later?
No, it is not, because you should just say, hey, I've been busy, wanted to circle back to you. No, believe me, these guys would be excited to hear. If they were excited in the first place, they're going to still be just as excited. You're thinking more like a woman. Like women get their feelings hurt. He didn't get back to me. And I want you guys to stop in that regard and be more like a man in that and realize people get busy. People have shit going on in their lives. One of these guys does get offended. They're just kind of being a woman in my perspective. You know what I mean? So just that. But if they were interested, they should still be interested, and they'll probably be excited. Oh my gosh, thank you for getting back to me. That's usually what you're going to hear.
Okay,
I would do that. Start doing that and see if you can't stop all this chatting, get on a call. And then see how much you like them. Maybe do a second call. I don't really recommend a second call, but in your situation, with your kids, maybe, you know what I mean? But listen, if, I would say one of the easiest things that I used to do would be I had my go-to place. And so anyway, so I literally made every single date there. And all I had to do was get ready right before, and I'd walk to the corner and I'd have my date. So if I were you, I would start making things like that as easy as possible for yourself,
Yeah. Okay, that's a
what
good
I
idea.
think. Yeah.
Then,
All right.
and it's okay to go to a drink date, like if that's what he had suggested.
I mean, I feel like drinks can always roll into dinner. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You could always say, sure, drinks is good. And maybe, maybe depending on time, we can grab a bite while we're there. Kind of
Okay.
put it out there, float it
Okay.
out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, ladies, now I'm going to share with you a great question somebody brought up to me. And, I don't talk about it enough, but it's about getting a Google phone number. It's also about protecting your privacy and things you might not have thought of.
Actually, I have a dumb question to ask.
There are no dumb
Mine.
questions. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have my Google number.
Yes.
How do I use it on my phone? Do I have to download the Google app to go
Yes.
through that direction? Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can only check it, I think, through email. So yes, I have the Google number. We have it for like our work number kind of thing. And I have the Google app on my phone. So it works just like if somebody texts it, it pops up on my app and I see a text or a voice, or mine doesn't ever ring for whatever reason. Maybe I have that setting off, but yeah, text messages and everything, I see it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, that leads me to the fact that I want to remind everybody, I definitely want you guys to have a Google number that you're giving these guys just to protect everybody's safety. And also it's another good way to, if you ever want to start fresh, like let's say right now you have an old Bumble profile and you continue with the old Bumble profile, and while we test your new photos, while we see how the men are responding to the new photos, and that's sort of our testing phase. But once we're like 100% good to go, your photos are resonating with the men you want to meet, all this stuff, and you want to completely hit the reset to try to reset the algorithms, I would recommend then deleting your profile from the app and then using a Google number. So because it's going to follow your phone number. So if you use the same phone number you used the first time around, then it's going to recognize you again and you're not starting fresh. So the Google number will come in handy for that. But then also, in the early phases of dating a guy, give him your Google phone number. Don't give him your home phone number because, people these days are just getting creepier and more invasive. And it's not to make you worried because that's just a sampling of the world. You go to the airport, the majority of people you see at the airport, you'd never want to date. Dating apps are the same, it's a slice of the real world. But a slice of the real world these days is crazy still. The real world is a crazy, dangerous place. And so I want you guys to protect yourselves as much as possible. So the Google number would do that. And if a guy has a problem with it, then we've just identified a guy that needs to be kicked to the curb anyway. So there we go.
All right, ladies, we're going to talk about age. The age. Should you target younger? Should you say you're younger? How to get on the radar in front of the people you want to meet.
For age, I did kind of see, I think in one of your videos or somewhere where you said it's okay to kind of fib a little about the age. Like, how does that work?
Right. Great question. So how old are you?
How old am I? 55.
And how old do you how old do you want to be?
No, I mean,
again. No.
My only reason I never care about sharing my age, but I just don't want, I feel like when I share my age, then it's going to be like some 70-year-old, and I don't want someone, I kind of want someone a little younger if possible.
Like
Just
how young? Like how younger?
5 to 7 years if possible.
So I will caution the younger. So when you go in the opposite direction, there is a trade-off, and the trade-off is usually that, it can be one of two things. Either these guys just want to hook up and they'll date you and hook up with you, but they're still not going to be serious. They're not going to fully ever commit, or they're just getting with you because you have more than they do. So they're never going to have as much money as you do. They're not going to have, the life. They're not going to quite be at the level that you're at. So there is a trade-off there if you're willing for that, but I would say, I understand and see, this is what people who aren't 55 and above, let's say, or even 50 and above, don't quite understand.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that want to argue with me like, oh, lying is bad and Well, when you hit this age and stuff, you'll start to understand it's not about lying. It's about still trying to get on the radar of the people you want to meet and not
Yes.
be overlooked, because you do hit a certain age, and this is just the truth. You do hit a certain age where you start to get overlooked, you just do. And so I have no problem like lowering it. Like I wouldn't do all the way. I don't like to do like 5 years, because that's kind of a lot, I feel.
Right.
I would feel fine maybe even with 52.
Okay.
That's still not quite 55. But I do want you to come clean in the bio. So in your bio, even if it's the very last sentence, once you do your photos, your first sentence, your opening sentence is going to be all photos recent as of, whenever you do, May 2025, And then your last sentence to wrap it up is going to be, by the way, and don't say, oh, I don't know how to change my age or all that, because that just, yeah, nobody's buying that. Just put my actual age is 55.
Okay.
So they see two important things. One, your photos are all current as of May 2025, and your real age is 55. So now they go, oh, awesome. Now she's going to look great. Because I find in my experience, and it's not all men, but it's certainly more than women think, they're not as concerned with the number of how old you are as they are with how you look for your age.
Okay.
Right. But at the same time, just like you ladies, they may not be looking at the 55 or 60-year-old women, maybe because they just assume all those women are going to look older. You see what I mean? That's the reason to fudge the number. So you at least get on their radar and get an opportunity for them to see you.
Okay, so you're checking in with some progress, but I'm going to be honest with you. I have some concerns.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have a phone call set up, for this morning, or actually a video call, but, it was, I don't know if you read the thing, but, he didn't say a whole lot. It was kind of like a lot of, okay. And like, he didn't answer my questions.
I'm going to get on you right now. I'm going to get
I know.
Why am I going to get on you?
Because I shouldn't even waste time on somebody who doesn't put out any effort.
Well,
and
hold on. We have a test that we give them in the very beginning, right? And imagine he's like, he's selling Avon and he comes to your door, okay? And you crack the door open by saying, I hope you asked me an interesting question out of the gate, and you're peeking outside the door. And then he doesn't, he ignores it. And he just does whatever he wants to say. And it's still not a lot of effort. And
wait, hello?
And you say, oh, okay. You aren't impressing me, Avon salesperson, but you know what? Why don't you just come in anyway? You know what I mean? And it's like, this is where, and again, you guys can test it over and over, and I'm usually almost always right. And not that I want to be right, but it is our test. And if they don't qualify, then you'll see what happens, right? All this stuff I'm looking at is exactly what will happen. No effort. He's just replying with one word. We could video chat. See, right now, here's what he wants to do. He wants somebody that pretty much looks perfect. And I think he's had work done too, but he wants to just run through as many ladies as possible, get them quickly on video, because he's looking for a specific look. And that's really all it's about. He's not digging deeper. He's not really interested in the other things beyond, does she have the look? Does she have the look? So he's powering through as many women as he possibly can. And that's what's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you are always right, not almost always right. I think you're pretty much 99.9% right.
Yes.
So I agree. And like, whenever I see something like that, like I always, some men just don't communicate well. So I'm like, okay, you get one like free pass. Let's try again. Well, ask a question. He didn't. And then he texted and he's like, oh, let's talk tomorrow morning at 8:30.
He's only concerned about how you look. That's all he cares about. He said it from the first message to you. Let's get together. Or what did he say? Let's blah, blah, blah. I've moved on.
Yeah. Like, did you want to go out? Do you want to get together or something like that?
Yeah.
A pleasure to meet you. Do you like to get together? And I said, maybe after a few texts and a phone call, and I did your little winky faces.
Yeah. Get on a phone call with him.
We're going to do a phone call after our group chat this morning, because he wanted to do 8:30 this morning. And I'm like, I have an appointment. So
a FaceTime or a phone call?
We're doing a FaceTime.
That's not a phone call, just so you know. A FaceTime's not a phone call.
I know, but should I not do it?
Of course you shouldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about here? Did you not just hear? And listen, I say like I'm mad. I'm not mad. I know. I'm passionate.
I know. I need to hear it.
Did you not hear what I just said about who this guy is?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know why you need to, I keep telling you this. I want you to start taking your power back. That is the number one thing I think that because you're beautiful, you're smart, you're successful, you got all this stuff going on. but I've gotten to know you. And I know that your number one thing is that you're not taking your power back here with these guys. And you're kind of just letting them kind of do you however, hey, you want to do a FaceTime and you're rolling with it. And you really need to, instead of being the person they're trying to pre-qualify, you need to frame it like you're in control and you're trying to pre-qualify them in the nicest way possible, but still you got to take hold of this. So in this case, yeah, tell this guy, just say, hey, you know what? When's the last time you talked to him?
2 days ago, we set up the Zoom for today.
Perfect. So now you're going to text him and you're just going to say, hey, I went on a second date with somebody last night who I really liked, and I want to see where this goes. I'll circle back to you if things change. That's it. Boom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could do that because we're only communicating through we're still on Bumble. We haven't communicated. Like I didn't give him my phone number because I can't do Zoom calls from my Google phone. So I didn't give him my phone number.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, we can do a Bumble chat. So yeah, I can like put that one off.
Before I let you off the hook. Well,
okay. Yeah.
Because you have another guy we're going to talk about in a second. Did you follow my formula where you said, let's get on a call?
I did. I suggested a phone call and then he said we can video chat.
And then
and then I
go ahead.
Yeah. And then I thought, okay, well, honestly, it's like I'm not a big video chat person in general, but I'm kind of thinking it for the standpoint that, yeah, you know what, I want to see what this guy looks like if he really does look like his photos. Otherwise, I'm not going to waste time because he's not a good communicator. So if he can't communicate face to face, then I'll know, okay, time to move on. Rather than do a phone call and have an hour and a half phone call with a great personality and then do a FaceTime and say, oh, okay.
So I can tell you when you look at this guy's pictures, he's going to look exactly like his pictures.
You think?
Of course, there's no, I don't think there's any question what he's going to look like, but his looks don't matter. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe the first picture is not that new, but again, even if he looks like Brad Pitt in the last picture, also recent, that's what he's going to look like. Even if he looked like Brad Pitt, just the fact that he hasn't communicated well for you and you guys pre-qualifying, I would still want you to get on a call with him first to see if he sounds like a good communicator, because who the hell cares what he looks like? Again, if he can't communicate. And I think it's easier to communicate on phone than even FaceTime, because on FaceTime, you're really on the spot. And I also think you're distracted by, oh, am I looking good? Or what do they look like? Da, da, da. So I think if you're really trying to properly pre-qualify and get to the root of, is this guy going to have any more to say? Is he worth me getting my makeup on and fixing myself up to get on video with him? You always do a call. And we've talked about this, even when they're pushy about it, you have to give them your boundaries and hear what you're saying and respect it, Okay, so like I just told the other woman, these pre-qualifying steps, it kind of varies from scenario to scenario, right? Just to recap, the formula that I talk about is 2 or 3 messages on the apps, 20, 30-minute phone call. That's where you pre-qualify anything that you don't know quite, you weren't clear on when you talked on the apps. Not more messaging. You don't give him your phone number for him to then text you more. No, that's a phone call. Phone call goes well, a date should be scheduled. But if the guy's out of town, then that's different. I feel like there's still a few more pre-qualifying steps. And if a man ever wants to go from hi to meeting you right away, you have a couple of options. You can either rule him out right away, or you can give him an opportunity to listen to your boundaries and step up. All right. So we're going to dig into more of that right now.
I disqualified the guy because he refused to talk. He wanted to meet immediately, and I just disqualified him.
Yep.
Red flag there.
Yep.
And then another guy.
Not only is it a red flag, yes, it's a red flag, but also it's also telling that he couldn't understand why that was important to you. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to have a man that says, oh, well, if this is important to you, then I want to do it.
100%. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I progressed from the good conversation. He was bringing it. It wasn't just the, hey, how are you? There was some meaningful dialogue. We had a conversation. He said, I will come to you, because he's out of town. He goes, either I'll fly in or I'll drive in.
This is the same guy?
No, guy number 2 said he would either fly in or drive in. And would I please pick a restaurant that I would like to go to, because he doesn't know the area. I thought that was polite and pleasant. I didn't find that offensive. Does that go against what you teach?
not at all, actually. In fact, I talked about this with Matt Boggs Monday night. Yeah. So, okay. So back it up though. Did you do a phone call or a FaceTime or anything with him yet?
We did texts and we did a couple phone calls.
Okay. You haven't actually seen him yet.
I have not. He said his pictures were current, so.
I mean, personally for me, again, if this guy just wants to come in, sight unseen, blah, 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 and he's doing the work and all you have to do is show up at the restaurant, awesome. I do think though, it is a good extra step when there's travel involved to say, hey, maybe we should just get on a FaceTime or a Zoom first, just for a quick chat. And then, I don't even think you need to explain more than that. As women, we tend to want to over explain, but I think that's kind of enough. But you don't have to. That's just a suggestion. Now, when it comes to him saying you pick a restaurant, I have no problem with that. I love that. I mean, my guys a lot of times will do that because if they don't know the area, they want to make sure they're taking the woman where she wants to go. So one thing that has come up a few times, you could say, you know what? You can give him 3 options and say, you know what? Here's 3 really great places that I think would be fun. And why don't you pick which one sounds best to you? And I'm fine with all of them. And then that way it's kind of, now you're working together as a team, which is always good. And you've helped him. So now he has 3 options and then he can choose. All right. So you had an interesting date idea. And I think it's worth sharing and talking about.
Okay, my question is this. So we have our second date is this Friday, and we're supposed to, yeah. So like we're gonna go dancing, like to silent disco down on the beach, right? So like I don't know if he can dance. So
now wait. Whose idea was that?
Mine, because he said, "When can I see you again?" I'm like, "Well, this is what I'm doing Friday. If you want to join, otherwise you can."
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And so tell me about silent disco. You wear headphones.
Yeah, so you wear headphones and you change the channel. There's like 10 different DJs, so it's not super loud. So you can take them off and talk, and then you can put them on again and dance, which is why I thought it would be a good thing, because dancing is another nonverbal communication thing you can do to kind of check energy with
This
someone.
could go right or horribly wrong.
Yeah, right?
But it's kind of interesting that he's open to it, because it is a little, it is not the typical, put it like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, I mean, I just threw it out there because I was going with the energy. He was like, when can I see you again? I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing Friday if you want to go. Otherwise, we can just do another thing another day. And he's like, okay, I'll be with you.
Who were you going to go with?
I was just going to go alone because I love it so much.
And do you do it, but do you need to be barefoot if you're are you on the sand?
No, it's on the beach, which is like at bungalow style. Rooms.
And did he even ask what a silent disco was?
No, he knows because we talked about it at dinner.
Okay,
yeah, he actually said he's like, I'm kind of awkward with dancing because I'm really tall. So I don't know. I took that. It was like, wow, that was like, I'm impressed that he's willing to do this thing with me.
No, I love it. Are you kidding me? This is great. This is great. You know, I mean, but again, here's going to be your issue. Okay. Here's going to be your issue. You're not going to get an opportunity to really talk. So I know you well enough now that you're going to come back next Tuesday and you're going to report that you didn't get a chance to really, tell him much about you. But that's because you have to understand that's because of this scenario. Now, maybe you guys will at some point, but also I think what gets confusing for a lot of ladies is in the beginning, if a guy is really excited about you, and I've learned this from matchmaking, is that a lot of times they will talk a lot about themselves, and we tend to want to believe, oh my God, they're a narcissist, but that is not always true. You just don't know at that point, because I've known clients who were not narcissists, but they get nervous and they really like a woman and they want to just try to like sell themselves. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think this in the early days, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Well, and I think my hidden question is here. So we texted yesterday, like he just said something like he asked me how I was doing on Sunday because I was with my kids. So anyway, there was a little text back and forth. And then he said, would you like to maybe talk tomorrow, or do you just want to save all our words for Friday? So actually I do have a phone conversation with him today, but I didn't know. I'm like, do I do a phone or a video chat, like that's where I'm kind of like, and I treat it like a date, I guess. Right?
I would just do a phone call. You're an overthinker, so you
Yeah.
know. I'm glad I'm here to help you. No, don't. There's no need for any kind of FaceTime thing or anything like that. Just do a phone call, a catch-up phone call.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just catch up and then just chit chat.
Mhm.
Okay. Not like deep
Yeah.
fact finding and see if how, yeah. Okay. Okay. That's all that is what I needed to know, because I don't know how to operate after date one. Now I'm like, what? I actually got a date. So,
Not only did you get a date, but see, this is what we really want. I want you to get out on dates where it's good enough that then it becomes date two and date, so it's like, I think, before you guys were here, a lot of you, when you were on the dating apps, it's like filled with a lot of junk. But, the way I used to look at it back in the days before I started my matchmaking, and I would say, and talking about myself, I would say, yeah, I have a lot of like several guys I'm dating, but they're all empty dates. Like there was no one that was like substantial. It was like, and so I'm trying to clear the playing field for you ladies so that the one or the two, few and far between, show up for you. So this is what's happening now is great. I'm liking this guy so far. Okay, you have the last question for today. So let's get into it.
I did what you said with a different one, because I also have in my profile, about what I'm looking for, and, somebody who's young in mind, body, and spirit, because I definitely am younger than my age, my chronological age, and I have a lot of energy, and I want somebody who has that vibrance. And another man, he actually deleted me because I asked him a question, so it's fine. He's not here anymore. But he had said something like, made a comment about, what do you mean about young in mind, body, and spirit? I'm sensing Peter Pan syndrome. And I emailed him back and I said, I'm sort of unclear. I'm wondering, are you wondering if I have Peter Pan syndrome? Because I didn't know if he thought that I was
fair enough. Yeah.
judging him. So I asked him. And then he goes, maybe I wasn't clear because of the word count. And I'm like, well, no, it's not really the word count. It's kind of like, are you asking if I have Peter Pan syndrome, or are you saying that I'm judging men for having Peter? So anyway, he ended up deleting me, but how would I even answer that?
But Pam, even if it feels like confrontational out of the gate, which that does, you just need to move on. Delete it and move on. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today. Sometimes, ladies, I have to give you the tough love, and I have to be willing to say things that other people just won't tell you. But when you do the work and you follow my tips, and yes, I'm a snob about this stuff because I know my stuff works, but if you do it, it works. And I got the best message. Oh my God, it makes everything I do worth it, right? It makes all the hard work and everything I do for you guys worth it. And so this great woman, she was so fantastic. She went through my program. This was a couple of years ago, and she needed to reboot her life. She had a very demanding job. She had 2 kids. She was divorced from a man who she found out had a whole nother secret life happening on the side. That's what I'll say. That's how I'll put it. And listen, God bless her. She drank Gina's Kool-Aid. She followed everything to the letter. She did everything I teach. She followed all my strategies. And sometimes it happens for people right away, and some people, they just have to rinse and repeat for a bit. So it took her maybe about a year. And then sure enough, boom, 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 sends me this message today. And she's like, Gina, I just want to let you know, I've been now a year, okay? So 2 years since she did the program, took a year to meet this guy. She's now been with him a year, and they have just gotten engaged. She left her big job to focus on the relationship. She's now dialed everything back. She's in this safe, great, healthy relationship. And this is music to my ears, ladies. And this is why I do what I do. So, if you ever want to join me for a live session here, email us at teamgina@ginahendrix.com. You can also join in on my programs that I do. I have all different ways that I can help you, ladies, because no matter where you're at in life, I've learned there's always different phases and stages where you need extra help, okay? And I love doing that for you. So keep those standards high, and be smart, be safe, keep those standards high. And I'll talk to you soon.
Want to keep up with more of Gina's advice? Follow her on TikTok and Instagram at Matchmaker Gina Hendrix, or visit her matchmaking website, ginahendrix.com.